What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to TTP Sports. And the Eagles, they finally get the job done. They finally get the business done. They have finally clinched the #1 seed in the NFC. They also clinched the NFC East, and they get that bye week plus home field advantage throughout the NFL playoffs. And I guess it just finally feels good to get the job done. Yeah, the game definitely was ugly, no doubt. Jalen Hurts' first game in a couple of weeks. You could definitely tell that, Nick Sirianni and everything with the play calling, they were being very conservative, and that was probably the obvious thing they were going to do going into this week, especially with Jalen Hurts, coming off of that shoulder sprain. They just didn't want to risk anything. They really didn't want to risk anyone getting hurt. You really didn't see Miles Sanders used as much. You saw a lot of Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell from the running back position. And maybe there was some rust there from Jalen Hurts, no doubt. There were a couple of, throw decisions that were questionable, especially on that interception later on, like near the third, fourth quarter in the red zone. Eagles definitely did struggle in the red zone today, but still, I'm not going to look throughout this entire game, digest it, and criticize everything possible, and just look for the issues. I would say the biggest takeaway from this, you got the job done, and you didn't get anyone injured in this game. I think that is the most important thing that you should be taking away from this game, and you finally got that job done. You finally clinched that #1 spot. You get the bye week, you can get to rest a lot of people, and you'll probably mostly healthy going into your first, round matchup in the divisional round against whoever your opponent is going to be. And now you know that the other wildcard matchups, it's going to be Giants versus Vikings, Cowboys versus the Buccaneers, and then also either Seattle, Green Bay versus the 49ers. So I'm not sure who the Eagles would play after that round would be done. I guess it just depends on who wins each matchup. If you're looking at that, Giants-Vikings game, especially that Cowboys-Bucks game, there might be some enticing things to bet the underdog there, especially for, a Tom Brady against the Dallas Cowboys. He hasn't lost a game in his career against Dallas, and especially with the Vikings and the Giants going back to one of their games a couple of weeks ago, that basically just showdown that they had, where I believe it did go into overtime. It was just basically a back and forth battle. I wouldn't be, shocked if the Giants were to come out on top as the underdog in that game, especially with the Buccaneers and Tom Brady using, any type of, even though the Buccaneers looked completely horrible this year, the Buccaneers are terrible. They are not a good team. Tom Brady looks like he is a guy that should be retired. I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls some type of black magic out of his ass and finds a way to beat the Dallas Cowboys just because he's undefeated in his career against Dallas. I would not be surprised, shocked whatsoever from that outcome. Dallas also kind of got embarrassed by the Washington Commanders when they're not even playing their starters at all in that game. So that's definitely something concerning from Dallas' standpoint, especially that was a game they were trying to win to see if they could clinch the #1 seed. But thankfully, the Eagles got the job done. You don't have to worry about that. So basically, it is what it is at this point. Dallas got embarrassed. Eagles, they played a sloppy game, but they got the business done. I think that's the only thing that matters at this point. Only thing that matters. A.J. Brown, he breaks the Eagles, record for most receiving yards in a season. So that was something that was nice to see. Some nice catches. Like I said, Jalen Hurts had some nice throws, especially to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. There were some questionable ones definitely as well. And you can definitely tell that there was a little rust in the factor of Jalen Hurts not playing for a couple of weeks. And maybe there was a little bit of an issue because him not used to having, Lane Johnson on the right side. The Giants' second, backups and everything like that, they were definitely blitzing Jalen a lot. I guess he wasn't really used to that. And like I said, I don't think there's a choice or like a real reason to really criticize this game. Philadelphia fans, they're going to criticize it. Oh, why are you being so conservative? Why are you just balling out? Just blow this Giants team out. I also kind of did find it funny in this game that Reed Blankenship got absolutely train wrecked. He got steamrolled by Webb. Webb going right up the middle. Blankenship just standing right there, and he gets absolutely torched, bulldozed into the end zone. It was just like, oh my God. Would I've liked the Eagles to be a little aggressive in this game just to, put the matter of the fact to get your starters out of there so they didn't have to play the entire game? Yeah, I would have preferred that, no doubt. But you still went through this game and no one got hurt. So take that for face value. You still got the job done. That's all the matter it is. They weren't going to lose against the Giants' backups. That just wasn't going to be. They're not playing their best game. They're playing very conservative. They're not running the ball whatsoever, especially with Jalen. You could definitely tell that they were not going to do that from the get-go. They were just going to, put a bunch of passing plays together, find some slants, find Dallas Goedert on third down, find A.J. Brown, find Devontae Smith. They weren't going to really force anything. And then, the occasional run by Boston Scott where he scores a touchdown once again against the New York Giants in his career. So that just adds to the resume for that as the giant killer he is. And then Jake Elliott kicking all the field goals in the world. So Jake Elliott had like 5 field goals in this game, so good for him. The defense, they did their job today. Kind of sucks that they didn't get that many sacks because it's kind of, thought Davis Webb, he was kind of being a bitch. Like he didn't want to get sacked, but like that's good work by him. He just gets out of the way. He throws the ball away before he gets sacked. I was just like, come on, the Eagles definitely want to try to go for that record for most sacks in an entire season. What I think they got stuck at 69, which is a very nice number, by the way. But overall, kind of would like them to see more sacks. But like I said, I'm not going to complain about every single thing in this game. They looked sloppy. Yeah, they definitely did. I think that is due to the matter of factors, a little bit of rust of Hurts not being there for a few weeks, and also just with the play calling being very, very, very conservative. They knew they were probably going to get away with being that conservative against the Giants team who's not playing their starters whatsoever. They did. Even though that one touchdown at the end of the game, I kind of wish, even though it kind of felt like the coverage by Slay on that touchdown, it kind of felt a little soft, but overall, I think that's a little bit nitpicky at that point. I'm sure a lot of Eagles fans were definitely very annoyed when the game was getting a little too close for comfort. I was just being like, can this game just end at this point? You knew the Eagles, they were going to go through that, 7-minute long drive near the end of the fourth quarter, basically just to stall the entire game out. The Giants, they do the onside kick. It was basically game over from there. Giants did a lot of weird things, too. Whether they fake a punt in this game or was it a fake field goal? There were certain situations where they wouldn't try to go for the touchdown or wouldn't try to go for the field goal. They were doing the onside kick to start the second half. There was a lot of weird things they were trying there. Like, that's basically your product of the final week of the NFL regular season. There was a lot of slop today, basically throughout the entire league. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they needed the Dolphins and the Patriots to lose. The Dolphins ended up winning in a terrible game between them and the Jets where they're basically no starting. You're seeing Joe Flacco out there. Basically can't do anything against the Dolphins. That game was an entire slop fest. A lot of the games were entire slop fest today. It's week 18 football. That's the product that you're going to see. A lot of teams not playing their starters, especially teams that are in the playoffs, and then basically teams that have no business of playing in week 18 because they're already eliminated. And then you see the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. The Texans completely destroying their entire tank. That was absolutely hilarious. Texans, the tanks of all tanks. And they completely screwed over in the final few minutes of the game, getting that touchdown and the 2-point conversion. And now the Chicago Bears have the first overall pick in the NFL draft. I thought that was very funny. And basically the last game of the night, Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers. Means a lot for the Packers since the Lions, they're already eliminated because Seattle won today in overtime on a field goal. So whoever wins this, if the Packers win this game, they make the playoffs. If the Packers were to lose this game, Seattle makes the playoffs. And maybe if I'm the Detroit Lions, the best way to get revenge against the Seattle Seahawks would be maybe losing this game a little bit on purpose so they don't make the playoffs. That's just me being petty right there. But still, going back to today's game, your focus is on the playoffs right now. You got that week off. You got the bye week. You rest your guys. Do a little mini training camp if you want. Get some of the guys back. Get Lane Johnson back. He's going to be back for the first week no matter what in the playoffs for the divisional game. Whether he's 65%, 70%, 80%, whatever percent of ready he's going to be. He's going to be ready to play that game no matter what. Jalen Hurts, he's going to be much better. The play calling is definitely going to be a lot better. They're not going to be as conservative as they were today. They're definitely not going to be that way. I can definitely ensure that. It was basically just going through the motions today. Get the job done, get the business done. Let's see how Hurts looks after the few weeks, of not playing. Like I said, there was definitely some rust involved there. Also combined with the very conservative play calling, not allowing Jalen to use his legs. And also, you're going up against a Giants team not playing their starters. A bunch of backups, they're trying to prove themselves for jobs for next season. Playing a lot of blitzes out there. Basically just rushing the quarterback. So, not going to overreact to this game. No way in hell. I don't think people should be overreacting to this game. But Philadelphia fans, they're going to overreact. Just because they wanted to go into this week and absolutely destroy this team. Would I have liked the Eagles to be a little more aggressive out of the gate just to put the game away so you don't have to play the starters the rest of the way? Yeah, I definitely would have liked that. But it is what it is at this point. You still got the business done. You got the bye week. You didn't get anyone injured in this game. All's done. The NFL season's over. And now you move on to the playoffs. You got your bye week, so you don't have to worry about anything this weekend. If you're an Eagles fan, you can just see what's going to happen with the Cowboys and the Bucks, the Giants and the Vikings. See what happens with those games. That's definitely going to be some fun to watch. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be voting the underdogs in those games, the Giants and the Buccaneers, with their respected games. I know a lot of people are thinking that the Buccaneers are going to beat the Dallas Cowboys. I can honestly see that happening. That would be very funny if that happened, because Dallas absolutely got embarrassed by the Commanders today. What was it, 26-6? My God, that was bad. That was a bad showcasing from Dallas. My goodness. Like, Jesus. Jesus. I'm trying to say, with the A.J. Brown passing the single-season receiving yards by an Eagle, beating Mike Quick. Let's see if there's anything else. I know I saw something about the playoff schedule here. Let me see. Where are we at? Where are they at? No, I saw something here. I'm not sure if it was the Eagles' schedule for next year, or like the opponents they were playing, or something. Let me see. There's something to do with the playoffs. Trying to see. Yeah, the opponents are finalized for next season, but that barely matters at this point. We'll talk about next season when that happens. What else? Anything else here on Twitter in terms of the playoffs? I remember seeing something earlier. I guess it's because of Twitter constantly refreshing. I probably missed it. What are you going to do at that point? Here we go. NFC playoff picture. Number 1 seed Eagles, 2 seed 49ers, 3 seed Vikings, 4 seed Bucks, Cowboys with the 5th seed, Giants with the 6th, and then the Packers with the Seahawks will clinch the 7th seed after tonight's Packers-Lions game. So that'll be happening there. Eagles get home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs besides the Super Bowl. I'm sure the times are going to be settled later on in the week for these games, the wild card games, so we're definitely not going to see anything there. What else is there? The stats from this game, I don't think the stats really matter. Jalen Hurts, like I said, there was rust involved. They barely ran the ball, especially with Miles Sanders. He had 11 carries, but he only had 33 yards in this game. Jalen Hurts barely ran the ball. A.J. Brown had a good game, 4 receptions for 95 yards. Devontae Smith had a solid game. Dallas Goedert as well. Defense did what it had to do. Even though, ended the game when they're giving up those scores. You wouldn't like that to happen against the Giants backups, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I still find it funny that Blankenship got absolutely torched. Absolutely bulldozed. Found that very funny. I want to see if I can find that here on Twitter. Let's see, Blankenship. Let's see, where is there a video here? Can I find that? Of him getting absolutely bulldozed. Oh, God, that's absolutely funny. That is. My goodness. But all's well that ends well. Number 1 seed, and that's basically the only thing that matters at this point. So let's go over to the Anytime Hotline. We do have a voicemail here from Sean. You can also do that if you want to leave a voicemail here, 215-839-9885. If you want to leave your thoughts and opinions on any game, any stream that is possible, you can get your text message, your voicemail heard on the stream, basically any stream that is going to be airing on this channel. So like I said, it's your choice. You have a preference. I have the YouTube chat here as well. Also with the hotline, your preference at this point. I'm giving you options. So let's see what Sean Fitzpatrick has to say about today's game.
This was a weird one today, Amadeo. I mean, don't get me wrong. You don't get style points in the NFL. At the end of the day, the Eagles did what they had to do. But it just felt like they had already resigned themselves to it being nothing more than a glorified scrimmage. And all they had to do was go through the motions, and that would be enough to beat the Giants, which it ultimately was. I just feel like if you're a Giant fan, you're a little bit happier with their performance in a loss than you are with the Eagles in a win. I mean, Jalen Hurts' rust was definitely showing today, and I hope that they don't have Philadelphia Flyer type doctors on staff, that there really isn't anything more wrong with his arm than they're telling us. But, you know, they got the win. They survived and advanced. You know, a good day for the Eagles all around if you're a fan. I mean, anytime Dallas loses, that's good. The Saints lose, so I think their pick is number 10. But there's a lot of things that need to be cleaned up with this bye week. But the health of Jalen Hurts and his ability to bounce back and play like the Jalen Hurts of 6-7 weeks ago is of the utmost importance.
Oh yeah, I don't think I'm going to be worried at all with the rust and everything this week. I think a lot of people are panicking after this week because the Eagles don't have any momentum going into the playoffs or anything like that. I saw that a lot on Twitter, people just panicking and everything. But I think the one thing that it's also important to bring up, if you go back to 2017, I know these two teams are completely different, but if you go back to 2017, Super Bowl year, Carson Wentz gets injured, bring Nick Foles into the picture. Eagles look like just horrid on Christmas against the Raiders. And they really struggled down the last few weeks with Nick Foles under center. Had a few ugly games mixed in there. It looked ugly. They looked like they didn't have any momentum going into that playoffs. It looked like maybe they would be a first-round exit. Huh? That momentum didn't matter. They struggled a little bit against the Falcons, definitely, but Foles got confident. Then they steamrolled the Vikings. And then Foles had one of the best games of his life against the Patriots. Well, basically two of the best games of his life against the Vikings and the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So I don't think momentum going into the playoffs matter. I think the bye week is important. I think everyone can agree on that. You get the rest of the players that need to be rested, especially guys that are injured, so you can get them back for the first game of the week of the divisional round. That's the most important thing. I think play calling is going to be better. Today, they were just very conservative because I would assume they just didn't want to get anyone injured, especially Jalen. That was probably the most reason for that. I think they'll go over some things during the practice scrims and everything like that, so I'm not worried about anything in that standpoint. You got the job done. The business was taken care of. You got your bye week. You got your home field advantage throughout the playoffs. That's the most important thing there. Wish they would have got it done a couple of weeks ago, but it is what it is at this point. You got the job done today. Got the job done. That's all that matters. Now you move on to the playoffs and just wait to see who you play in the divisional round. See what happens in this first weekend of the wild card round. See if any of these top seeds get eliminated. See if Dallas chokes or maybe the Vikings choke. I kind of think the team that I'm trying to think, because when the Eagles are at their strongest, they're a very hard team to beat. I would really only be worried about a team like maybe the 49ers. I think they're the team in the NFC that I'm probably the most worried about if they would have to face each other. Most likely, you probably wouldn't be seeing the 49ers until the NFC Championship game. That's what I would expect. I think they're really the only team I'd be worried about in the NFC. The AFC, especially, you got the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, you got the Bills. Those are really the only two teams there that you should be worried about. Maybe the Bengals, Joe Burrow, but they're definitely a beatable team. But still, you control your own destiny at this point. I don't think momentum matters. You got your bye week. So basically, got the job done. And now you just move on to the playoffs. Do whatever you have to do in practice this week, preparing for the divisional round. move on from there. See what happens in the wild card weekend. And let's see what happens. I see some guys here in the chat. I see Renee. Oh yeah, and I know you were a a 49ers fan, Renee. So basically, it's the bet. May the best team win. May the best man win in these playoffs. 49ers are definitely a scary opponent. They're one of the best defenses in the league. See what happens. So that's going to do it for today's stream, everyone. Eagles got the job done, the most important thing. And now they're moving on to the playoffs with the bye week. So what are your thoughts on this video? Do not forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. I'd like to see those as always. Do not forget to drop a like on the video. Do not forget to check out everything in the description down below. Painted Lines, BrodesMedia. I recommend all that stuff. Same thing with hitting that subscribe button. It does me a great deal. Please hit that subscribe button. Also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK. Use it for anything you can think of. It's a great deal. Do not pass it up. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining tonight's stream. The Eagles got home field advantage. They get the bye week. They got the job done. Most important thing. And I will see you next time.